No.
Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone to our week 1 webinar on Introduction to Site Administration. My name is Susie Chan and I am in the Adoption and Education team at OpenLMS based in Australia. I will be supporting all of you through this 3-week course. The purpose of the weekly webinars is to complement the course content. We'll highlight key features, but we're not going through all the content in detail, as you can work through the content at your own pace. It's also your opportunity to seek further clarification on anything that is unclear. Now let's take a look at the course. The announcements forum is where I will post any information and updates to participants throughout the 3-week course. The Raise Your Hand forum is where you can post any questions you have and I will respond as soon as possible, or feel free to jump in and answer each other's questions if you know the answer. Webinar information is where you'll find the times and links for all our weekly webinars. You will have received an email calendar invite to the weekly webinar too. Course Essentials. Course Details page has information about the course. We suggest putting aside 1.5 to 2 hours per week for this course, not including the webinars. There is also the option to create a sandbox course, which I highly recommend if you don't currently have access to one. The webinar recordings playlist is where all the weekly webinar recordings will be saved, so you can go back and watch them at any time. Now, you may have noticed our Academy and course layout looks a bit different. For those who are new to the 4.0 Moodle upgrade, we have a section covering the changes and enhancements. The key features to highlight are the navigation drawer has been replaced with this course index on the left. The course index is a table of contents of the course, and you can move through the course index, which makes it a bit easier than scrolling up and down the course, which is nice. The site administration used to be at the bottom of this navigation drawer, but now is located up the top here in this static navigation bar. One of my favorite changes is this edit mode toggle that sits up here in the top right-hand corner and is also static, so we don't need to scroll up and down to turn that on and off. This course admin bar is super handy, which includes items we use all the time, including course, settings, participants, grades, reports, and more. They are just some of the new upgrades. For more details, take a look at the content, which also includes videos and a Where Did Blank Go glossary where we can find features that have moved. Okay, moving on to this week's focus, which is getting started with site administration. We'll also be taking questions at the end. Firstly, I just wanted to point out, depending on what theme you are using, the site administration button is found in slightly different places. As mentioned earlier in this 4.0 site, the site admin link is in the static navigation bar at the top of the page. If you are using the Snap theme, there will be a cog icon at the top right with a drop-down menu that includes site admin. Now, jumping into this demo site, which is pre-4.0, site admin will be in the navigation drawer on the left, which is the same for the boost and forwards and themes. However, once you enter site admin, the menu options are the same for 3.11 and 4.0. Here at OpenLMS, we have a few different products, and some products like our EDU SaaS product allows users full site administration access. So you'll see all of these tabs. But in our managed hosting product, it is a limited as our team do the heavy lifting like plugin install and enablement and appearance options, etc. In this course, we'll mainly stick to the site admin tabs that everyone will have access to, including general, users, courses, and grades. The site admin area is the back end of the learning management system and is where we control the background settings for the site to keep it running well. In the Site Admin General tab is where we can create and manage competencies, and update H5P settings. H5P, if it's new to you, is a content creation tool that comes with Moodle. It's open source and free. If you are interested in learning more about H5P, we actually have an OpenLMS course dedicated to H5P. Let me know and I can send, if you are interested, and I can send through the details. In location settings, you can see what default setting is set for the site and whether users can choose their own time zone. This site is currently set to American New York, but we have allowed users to choose their own time zone. Back in the General tab, there are also language options. Moodle is built on what we call the language pack and uses language strings. So for example, the menu items such as dashboard, site home, my courses, etc. are all handled by language strings. Some organizations may prefer to use different language. For example, my learning might be used instead of dashboard, and this can be changed in the language pack. Now, the language pack can be a little tricky to update, so feel free to reach out to our support team for assistance. There are also messaging settings, which controls the instant type messenger function in the site, where you can send one-to-one messages and group messages, which is this speech bubble icon at the top here. Site-wide messaging is off by default because otherwise it allows any user to see and message all users on the site, which we don't necessarily want. Related are notification settings, which determine where people can get notifications. Web gives you an alert in the notification center, which is this little bell icon up the top here. Email means you can get an email notification. Mobile means it will come through the mobile app. As an example, assignment notifications have been enabled, but are currently only going to the user email. The lock setting means if enabled, users can't override this setting. One common issue we see sometimes is users saying they're not receiving forum notifications, which is often because that notification isn't locked and the user has gone into their profile preferences and disabled notifications. If we don't want that situation happening, we can go in and lock the settings so users can't change the notification preferences. Payment settings are kept here as well, and the system allows for PayPal and Stripe payment gateways. The site or front page settings is where you update the site name, the site description, and what you want people to see when they're not logged in versus when they are logged in. Going back into our course, we'll also cover what plugins and LTIs are. Plugins are a functionality extension for Moodle, and there are hundreds and hundreds of plugins available. We do have strict guidelines on what plugins can be installed on our sites. We like to make sure the code is quality, there's no bugs or potential security issues. If you'd like to know if a certain plugin is available, you can always ask our support team. LTI stands for Learning Tools Interoperability. This is when we want a third-party site to talk to Moodle. For example, Zoom is an LTI. In the course content, we have some detailed instructions on how to set those up. Now that's an overview of site admin. The next topic for this week is managing users. So going back into our demo site, in the Users tab, you can search for users via Browse List of Users. I'll just do a search for my colleague, Amy, who is also in the Adoption and Education team. There she is. Oh, sounds like someone's joining. I'll just let them in. So see here in Amy's profile, you can see the courses that she's enrolled in and also when she last accessed the course, which was over a year ago. You can also perform a range of bulk user actions. Some actions include download a list of users, send a message, or force a password change, which will save you time doing this in bulk. There is also the option to add a user manually, one by one. Minimum details required are username, first name, last name, and email. This is good for adding 1 or 2 users, but it becomes time-consuming if you're doing more than that. Some clients have an integration, such as Conduit in our EDU product, which automatically adds students from their student management system. Otherwise, in upload users, we can also bulk upload users with a CSV file. There is an example CSV template here, which you can download, and it includes the fields required to create users in the system. It can also be used to bulk enroll users into courses and cohorts. Permissions is where you allocate your site administrators. You can have one main administrator and you can have other site admins, but we recommend not having more than 4 users with site admin access. Site admin access gives you access to everything. That level of access provides more risk to an organization. So it's safer to only have a handful of people at most with site admin access. Define roles is where you'll find the different system roles and their access. The student or teacher roles are course specific, so those roles will only apply to the course they have been enrolled into. As a user, you can be a student in one course and a teacher or manager in another course. However, the site administrator role is a site level or system-wide role, so it follows you everywhere throughout the site, even if you are enrolled as a student or teacher in a course. If any of these roles don't suit what you need, you can create a new role. We do recommend contacting our support team if you need to create a new role, as there are thousands of permutations for permissions, so it can be a little complex to manage. In privacy and policies, the 3 data options are all related to GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and people needing to request their data to be removed from the site, plus regular privacy and policy settings. Now, the last topic we will cover today is managing courses and grades. In the Courses tab, Manage Courses and Categories is where we view all our courses and create new courses and categories. There's a number of ways you can categorize your courses. You could categorize by year, school, faculty, or subject matter, whichever suits your organization. Something to keep in mind in course categories is that this dictates how courses are listed in other areas, such as the dashboard or site home. So make sure the structure you decide on works not just for the admin users, but other users, including students and teachers, who may be viewing the structure through the dashboard or site home. There is also the option to add course custom fields, which can be helpful if you wish to include things like course DPD points. You can restore courses. So, for example, if you have a colleague from another organization that has created a course in their Moodle-based LMS, they can take a backup of the course, share it with you, and you can restore that course back up into your LMS. Course default settings are good to know about. This is what the default settings are when you create a new course. However, the course creator can then change these settings at the course level once the course is created. You can show or hide a course when it's first created. We tend to have this default to hide because we don't want anyone to view it while it's still being developed. You can enable or disable download course content. However, for mobile users, even if you disable it here, they can still download content. So just be aware of that setting is managed elsewhere, which our support team can assist you with. You can set the default format for courses, which then can be overridden in the course. Default maximum number of sections can also be set. Okay, let's have a look at grades, which includes general settings, grade category, and grade item settings. Scales are managed here too. These can be used to determine how courses are graded. So for example, standard scales you could use could be pass or fail, or competent / no, not competent. There are also some default scales available, but you can also create additional ones too. If you are using grade letters, we recommend having a look to see whether these grades and percentages match your organisation's requirements, and if not, you can edit these too. Okay, everything we have touched on today is covered in the course content in even more detail, so you can go through it at your own pace. But now I'll open it up for any questions.
Oh, hi, Susie. It's Val here. Did you say it was best only to have 4 site admin people?
Yes. I mean, what's your situation?
I think we've got, wow, Leanne might want to comment, but I reckon we've got about 8 or 10, maybe. I'm not sure though. Some people have left, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, make sure, just update it with current staff, but have a look. If everyone does need the site admin access, and they're in there, managing courses and creating courses. Otherwise, there's if you have, say, just an instructor or a teacher, you can just give them a teacher role, and there's also a non-editing teacher role as well. So that could be another option. As I said, site admin gives you access to everything, so it's just preventing any like breakages or anything like that.
That's right.
Just something to consider.
So that teacher access, would that enable the person to go in and remove participants and add them, etc.?
Well, there's also a manager
manager
role. So that one, yes, you can have a manager as well. That one would do,
because some of us, do a bit more than others, I guess.
Exactly.
I can understand the risk involved there.
It's sort of good too. We've got somebody away that somebody else is able to jump in and do little bits and pieces. So because we're sort of in and out of responses and whatever, that's why we've had so many, I think, as admin with admin rights.
It's not a set rule, just some advice. And I guess you might have full-time, part-time people, people going on leave. So So what product are you currently on?
It's called M-Train.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know that one?
Is that so that's the LMS?
Well, it's operated through Moodle, but I guess it's the I don't know how you categorize it actually, if you call that.
No, I don't either.
But,
okay. Are you currently a client of Customer Open LMS?
I think we must be. We're having a big upgrade for the M-Train site, so I think that's how we came to get on this course.
Okay, so then maybe is it LearnBook?
No.
No.
That doesn't sound familiar.
That's right. Oh, good.
I just can't recall. Yeah, the person, Rachel Earsman, I don't even know the people she's dealing with, but it's been quite static for a few years, with not much change and getting a bit, some parts a bit redundant, and also not the ability to produce reports easily. That was a big issue. So then we had some money come our way, so we've been doing this big upgrade to make reporting a bit easier and just make it a bit more appealing as well.
Okay, yeah, that all sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you have any other questions this week?
Not for me, thanks, Susie. No.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, I will, wrap it up. So thanks for joining today's webinar. Next week, we'll cover appearance settings and activities and resources. So just a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Raise Your Hand forum. Yeah. And have a great week.
Thanks, Susie. So this goes for another 2 weeks.
Yes.
And are they usually half an hour or 1 hour? I noticed.
No more than next week. It'll be a bit longer because we have a bit more content to cover. So that might be just over half an hour, maybe 40 minutes or so. But we've just allowed an hour, just depending on questions and things like that.
All right, great. No, that's good to know. All right. Well, thanks very much, Susie. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Valerie. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you. Bye now.